Hello everyone, Bard here, and welcome to a special 4th of July video. It's the 4th of July season again, and to celebrate, I'll be reviewing the sequel to one of the biggest box office hits in the past 20 years. And ironically, it's one of the box office flops of last year. Independence Day Resurgence. It's 20 years after the war between the aliens and humans, and Earth is using what's left of the alien technology to build defense systems, weapons, and vehicles to prepare for another invasion. But David Levison, while in Africa, discovers a signal that marks the return of the alien race again, and ex-President Thomas Whitmore begins to have visions of the invasion occurring again. And with that, the aliens make a return, but more bigger than the last time, and covers almost half the Earth, drilling toward the core to gain energy, but destroying the planet. So all of mankind begin to fight back again, now with Stephen Hiller's son Dylan taking the lead of the flying squadron. And all the while, other subplots take place, including Dr. Oaken waking from a coma, Julius Levison helping kids who are left behind, and a space orb that helps the humans in defeating the aliens, as it is an enemy of the aliens, and is the last of its kind. I have gone over the first film 3 years ago, so you can check that out for more. But with this film, it's almost as good as the original. But why would that be, you may ask? For one thing, it's much shorter than the last film, with a running time of 2 hours instead of 2.5 hours, yet even bigger for its visuals, with bigger effects, bigger aliens, bigger ships, and all looking very grand and amazing. This is like taking the best moments of the original film and 2012 combined. It's quite huge and epic that really made me smile. There's also the cast from the first film, like Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, Judd Hirsch, Vivica A. Fox, and Brent Spiner, each of which are still as enjoyable as they were when we started out with them. Even Robert Loggia makes an appearance, which is unfortunate since this was the last film he did before passing away. The only one who is not in the film is Will Smith, mostly because he was unavailable due to playing Deadshot in Suicide Squad. But I didn't mind since the other actors came back, but Smith was what made the original film more fun, and at least he did make a return to another sci-fi franchise which was decent, so there's that. But even though I like most of the film, that doesn't mean that I like everything about it. One major problem is that it tends to compare itself to the first film and would repeat it in a different fashion, yet still feel like the first film. A history that would repeat itself 1 year later in another film from another studio that will not be named. But at least the White House gets saved this time. The science and technology is a bit hard to buy considering it's 20 years since the first film when they stated it as the War of '96. There are stations on the moon, fighter jets are now made to go into space, and yes, they do use the old alien technology to help in case of another invasion. But even with the mentioning of the dates that they happen and for how long, the film itself is already dated, even if they don't mention the present date. Oh, and there's a little hint at the very end that most movies with bad reception get, by building up for another sequel. Now, the original film ended fine, and there's no need for this coda if you know the film won't do very well. But after the success of the first film and people wanting to have a sequel, which by the way, why would you want to hate on a movie that you wanted in the first place? They get a film that ends without a final resolution. Because if a film ends like this, it will never be met once everyone hates it and it bombs. And we do have the returning cast, which I won't go over because I've already done so, but I'll go over the new cast, which, like the old cast, are pretty good. Liam Hemsworth plays Jake Morrison, Jesse Usher plays Dylan Hunter, Mika Monroe plays Patricia Whitmore, Travis Trope plays Charlie Miller, Sheila Ward plays President Lanford, Charlotte Gainsbourg plays Dr. Karen Marcuse, William Fincher plays General Adams, Nicholas Wright plays Floyd Rosenberg, Angela Baby plays Rain Lau, Ning Chin Han plays Commander Jang, John Story plays Dr. Isaacs, and Oparei plays Dikembe Umbutu. As a whole, this movie feels awesome. The characters are enjoyable, the story is alright, and the effects are fun. Director Roland Emmerich has done a pretty good job of continuing the original, with new and old characters, and presenting it in such a gigantic way, both literally and figuratively. Despite some repeats of the first film and some technology and science that's a lot to take in, the film manages to bring much of the excitement and fun of the last film. It's a lot shorter and gets to the action pretty quickly. But while the original to me is still quotable, memorable, and fun, even if a bit much when watching it every 4th of July, I can say I have a new film to watch every year. The original is nostalgic to me, but the sequel is a fun ride that is almost as good as the first. So today, this movie we get a rating of 3.5 stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, tune in next week for a new video, and have a happy 4th of July. So today, this movie will be given a rating of 3.5+ stars. Yep. But with this film, it's actually almost as good as the original. But why is that, you may say?